IntellectualRadio.com. I am Marvelous Marvelette, aka Molly B, bringing you the beauty of business. My show is sponsored by Beyond Basic Nail Academy, 2813 147th Street in Posen, Illinois. $3,500, $500 down, and weekly and bi-weekly payments. And Touch Perfection Counseling, supporting businesses with the perfect touch. Guest on my show is Lisa Scott of the Lisa Scott Factor. So, Lisa, tell me a little bit about yourself. Our listeners a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, one of the good things is that I have known you for several years.
Yes.
And I would like to say first, congratulations.
Thank
Great
you.
show. I'm excited to be here. I'm Lisa Scott, and I'm a licensed cosmetologist of well over about 24 years in the industry. I also hold a BA in business administration. So I'm very active within teaching business classes to the professionals in the industry, as well as in the instructors program. I'm about to forget that. Right now, I'm currently in an instructors program for cosmetology, which is really exciting. So other than that, I have outside company, which is a visionary executing company it's called the Lisa Scott Factor. So we handle a lot of elite events within Chicago. I've dazzled in a lot of the fashion industry, and as well as I think it was Style Bias Show and Black Fashion Week and a host of other different things throughout Chicago. So excited to be here, Molly.
Thank you. So the purpose of the beauty of business is not just for beauty industries. It's a play on words. So the bottom line is this. There is a lot of beauty in being in business. However, a lot of people don't understand the ins and outs and were not properly trained to handle certain things or certain situations. So what we're going to do here today, Lisa and I, we did a seminar called The Beauty of Business at the Kroc Center, and actually was sponsored by the Far Southside Community Center and Ava St. Clair, the marketing director. And it is actually a part of the series, it's part of the Get Money series. So today we're just going to kind of recap some things that we went over in the seminar and some things that we feel are important for people in business across the board to know. So Lisa, what do you feel like some of the biggest roadblocks or hurdles are in business?
Well, one of the biggest roadblock hurdles is that we don't realize how much revenue we can generate with retail sales. Retail sales makes up at least about a good 15 to 30% of your business, aside of what you bring in annually through services. So that's one big one. The other one is basically really promoting yourself, not just on social media, but really getting out there and, really paying for good marketing within the community in which your business resides in. So that's another really big one that we miss. And customer service. I think customer service is very big that we're missing within the beauty industry.
Now I'm going to go back and piggyback off something you said as far as retailing. Something I found mostly in the ethnic communities, we don't retail. Problem because, and we're going to touch on it and later on in the show, the bottom line. When you have a bottom line in business, so my goal was at one time was to make $1,000 a day. And that meant a total of my clients, servicing clients, and what I didn't make on clients, because I'm not going to kill myself either.
Absolutely.
But you have to pick it up in retail and add on services. And sometimes add on services is something that can be done in treatment without you physically touching them. Sit them to the side, do the add on service while you continue working doing other services. And everybody should leave your business with a product in hand. Just like if you went to McDonald's or at a burger, like, girl, that Big Mac was the bomb. Do you get a percentage or are you making money off telling them? No. Or if you went to the beauty supply house and tried a product and you really liked it and you referred them to that beauty supply house, you're not getting a percentage. So that's money that you can have within your own business. And that's why it's important to retail. And a lot of us professionals have an issue with certain professional companies going into Walmarts and beauty supply houses, neighborhood beauty supply houses, but they have to generate revenue just like we do because we're not buying and we're not retailing, so they have to do it. So you actually have to give support to get support.
Absolutely. And as well as you need to become your own beauty supply company. In other words, when you are doing the services, pretty much piggybacking off what you said, if you're doing those services, you need to have those items right there in hand so that you can allow your customer to leave with those particular products, because you need to be the next beauty supply within your business.
Now I'm going to take it back to the seminar we did at the Crocs Center on July 9th.
Okay.
There was a segment within the first half, which you did the first half and I did the second half, where you talked about the bottom line and how you have a formula. And I want to ask you to tell our listeners about the formula that you put out there.
Okay, so the formula that I gave was, knowing your bottom line is you need to be very cognizant about what you really want to make in this industry. You can make as low as $20,000 a year to as much as well over 200 or six figures. We won't even put a number on it, right? Okay. It's, 6 figures. So I have a formula. If you want to be able to jot this down, get a pencil and piece of paper, or just turn on your iPhones or your Androids. You want to be able to first gross income is, which means that find out how much you want to make. So if you want to make $70,000 a year, plug that in. Let that be your first line. I'm going to, I think I have mine here. Oh, I don't. So, okay. So I'm just going to give you the formula. The formula is, first, put in your gross income, know what that is. So if you want to make $70,000, $100,000, put that on your first line. Second, you want to be able to put the number of weeks in there. I put 48. I'm giving you 4 weeks off out of the year because there's 52 weeks within a year. So you want to put on the next line 48. You want to divide 48 into your gross income. So I did pull it up, what I put down on mine. I put down $200,000 a year, which I plugged in 48 weeks. Your next line would be your weekly income. That's what will be determined from dividing 48 into your gross income. I came up with, weekly, I need to make $4,167. So weekly, I would be able to achieve that in 48 weeks. Your next line, you want to put your days worked. I'm going to put down 5 because I'm going to work 5 days out of the week. You put in whatever you choose to do. Bringing that down to my total of daily, it would be, I'm going to divide the 5 into your weekly income, which would bring me to $834. So every day I need to be able to make $834 a day in order to be able to keep achieving my gross income goal. The number of clients, put on your next line. How many clients do you desire to service that day? I said 12. I desire to do no more than 12 clients that day, which gives me now a total of an average of $70 per guest. So each guest that comes into my salon, I would need to basically accumulate $70 from that particular guest. So again, if you do not accumulate $70 at the end of that, what I would do is, now I know I need to reach into what we just talked about, the retail. So now if I only as $5 for my, wash and style or what have you, they walked out with a ticket of $65. I know now I need to do an upsell. I need to find out, and do not sell anything that they don't need. An upsell is basically selling them of what they do need. Find out what your client needs. They may need an eyebrow waxing, so you want to be able to include that in your ticket.
And that's very important. The upcharges, honestly, upcharge, that kind of sounds a little, I don't know, negative, but it's not a negative thing. I like to call it an add-on service.
Good way to say it.
And then again, it's not always the message, it's the delivery. Correct. So we have to be careful with words. Another thing I like to do is, when you call it service menu. And when you name your services, I like to be unique. Like when I was a full-time stylist, I didn't say wash and blow. I said air, form, and style, because literally you're taking the blow dryer and the air, forming the hair the way you want to style it. So it's just wording. It's the message, the delivery of the message that takes you over the top.
You pretty much create your own words, so it's attractive as well for advertising. for your clients as well.
And that's where marketing comes in. So another thing in business, you need to find your niche. Everybody has a gift. And it's important for you to figure out what your gift is and capitalize on it. So you have to figure out what's going to set you apart from your competitors, because I wouldn't care if it was another business right across the street in the same suite as me, because I know that I'm different in my own right, because I have something special, a special gift that I can offer that the next person can't. I don't like to look at life as problems. In life, you're going to have situations. It only becomes a problem depending on how you deal with it. So that sets the tone for a negative outcome or a positive outcome. I want to touch on yourself as well as your business. You should represent what you do at all times. I have a friend who has a company called Main Insights, Dr. Krista Porter. Every time you see her and she's representing her business, she has a t-shirt on with her logo and her name. Beyond Basic Nail Academy, one of my sponsors. When you see the owner of Beyond Basic Nail Academy, Javon Haney, she has her Beyond Basic t-shirt on. She has her gym shoes, one say Beyond, one say Basic. In my salon, I have Touch Perfection bling shirts because everybody know I like the bling. So I represent and then a catchy name, because who wouldn't want to wear a shirt that say Touch Perfection? Because personally, I think I am a Touch Perfection. So that's just, thank you. So that's just a great way. And Beyond Basic, who wouldn't wear a shirt called Beyond Basic? It's the name for a company, but who wouldn't want to walk around with a t-shirt that says that, because it's very catchy and you can sell it. So you always have to think in terms of making money, and everything you do has to be geared around your business. And then what we do, when you have a good week or you make so much money, you need to learn how to divide the money. So much into investments, so much into personal, so much into pouring back into your business. Like, what are you going to do? So I had applications in my salon. A lot of people frowned at that. We all wear uniforms because everybody needs to look alike. You need to be able to distinguish the workers from the customers. Right. It needs to be a professional atmosphere, and everybody needs to look the same. You need to be polished at all times. Don't come to work with roses in your hair and a bonnet on your head, or start doing your hair and your 10 o'clock come in and you still curling your hair. That's just a pet peeve of mine. And a lot of times, within the beauty industry or other businesses, I'm going to touch on that in a moment, we have a negative stigma. A lot of us carry ourselves or conduct our business. So what we're here to do, my show, not just within the beauty industry, within business across the board, is to basically groom you and give you the ins and outs. Like when I closed my salon, I was able to draw unemployment, and everybody's like, how did you do that? Because I paid into unemployment. I paid into Social Security. I paid taxes. I paid into disability. So if you was to break your arm, you should be able to draw money or have a baby. That's another common issue within our industry or entrepreneurship. Certain things, life happens, and we're just stuck behind, and we're stuck because we didn't have a plan B. So if you learn how to run your business as a corporation, you won't have these problems. My first payroll check came from my own business, my own corporation. And even though I'm the one who took the taxes out, I wanted to thank. But in the end, I was able, because I never had that.
But the payoff is good.
It is rewarding. And another thing, a lot of people, entrepreneurs, they turn 65, 55, however age they decide to retire, or they develop ailments where they can't work anymore, but they have nothing because they didn't pay into it. Also, we have to invest. Invest in your children, invest in your education. Our seminars teach you how to invest for your retirement, for your children's college education, to where you will not lose money, even if you don't gain money, because we had a fund for my children, and they each lost $10,000. So once I learned about, because I'm the research queen, once I learned about this other company, which he's going to be a guest on my show soon, how to invest money, how to borrow from yourself to start a business without having to pay it back, or pay it back if you choose, and also have a college fund. So if you did not gain interest, you wouldn't lose money either. And these are things that are important for people to know.
Now, would you have to pay a penalty on that?
Yes. So my thing is, well, if you wait a certain age, or if you have a certain amount of time, it depends on which investment you decide to go with, because there are a ton of them. However, if you do have to pull it down, and you have to pay taxes on it. I won't necessarily call it a penalty, but I always have them take taxes out at the beginning. I want to give Uncle Sam all his money because he don't need to come looking for me. I don't play that game. And at the end of the year, so much goes on, you may forget, and you just don't want the headache. So I suggest, it's my opinion, that you have them taken out up front. And also, if you don't want to pay the money back, pay yourself back depending on how large your investment is, simply pay the interest every year and you're fine.
And then again, it's just what you said. It's all about investments. It's investing in you, your vision, your brand, your business. So even in the long run, it will pay off eventually. So
Absolutely.
It's worth it.
Absolutely. Yep. You're listening to IntellectualRadio.com. I am Marvelous Marvelette, aka Molly B, bringing you the beauty of business. This show is sponsored by Beyond Basic Nail Academy at 2813 147th Street in Posen, Illinois. $3,500 total, $500 down to start with weekly or bi-weekly payments. And Touch Perfection Consulting, supporting business in the with the perfect touch. So my guest today is Lisa Scott of the Lisa Scott Factory, and we were talking about different ways to enhance your business through knowledge, because a lot of times we find things out and we think we got one up on the next person, and in other cultures they support each other whether they like them or not. And support is a two-way street. And you can support if you can't physically be at everything. You can simply like something on somebody's page or share it on Facebook or social media, because that keeps it relevant and at the top of the timeline. We really need to work on and do. And also, if you have any questions, you would feel free to call into our intellectual radio station at 708-233-8953. Anything that you want to add?
Well, I kind of wanted to be able, if I could, for a moment. I don't think people really know really the essence of who Molly B is, because Molly, you've been in the industry. So I'm going to turn this over to you just for a second to ask you, because big, strong pioneer, you're very well educated, researcher, absolutely. You are definitely a researcher. And anytime I have questions or I'm looking to, hey, I want to know if I can find out, I think about you instantly, because you are a resource of information. And I think maybe your viewers would be interested in finding out just your highlights, because I know you probably got about 5 good pages of a resume.
Okay, so I have to do snippets because that would take my show and the next couple of shows. They're going to kick us out the studio.
Absolutely.
So,
what are you actually doing now?
That great question.
How about that?
So one of my sponsors is one of my own businesses, and it is called Touch of Perfection Consulting, because as Lisa said, I get calls starting at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning on the phone to 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. People asking me, people ask me everything from how to tie my shoe, paint a house, to start a business and pay taxes. But the fortunate thing is I know the answers, because I surround myself with people who bring value to my life, and I can add value to theirs. So my newest venture is consulting, a plethora of information. But at the same time, people forget you told them, or you stayed on the phone with them for 17 hours every week to give them this information. And then when they do come back and say, well, hey, I want you to be a part of this. Oh, but I've exhausted my budget. So, well, you know what? We're going to turn this into a business. So now, if you got questions about certain things and you don't come to my seminars, you can get them at Touch Perfection Consulting. Just email me at missmollyb2@gmail.com. That's MSMOLLY, the letter B, the number 2 @gmail.com. And also, I'm doing a series of seminars on business and business structures and how to invest, how to pay taxes, how to get your own startup money, how to get sponsors. And also, if you would love to have your business highlighted on my show, want to be a guest, I have package deals. Email me or call the show or hit me up on Facebook. You can inbox me or write on my wall, and I'll inbox you the prices and quotes. So there's several packages. You can be highlighted one day. You can be highlighted for the entire month. I have a package plan as well as a yearly package plan. And these are ways to help you put your business things in order and put them into action, as well as promote yourself. Mm-hmm. So that's enough about me.
Yes,
so let's get back to business at hand.
Great. Well, one of the things, do you think that in the industry that we're really dealing with right now is we've got the protective styles, but then underneath that protective style, there's this layer of breakage and dryness and just all sorts of stuff when we unveil what's underneath those lace lace wigs and units and even sometimes braids that come to us. What would you say about that?
Okay, so that leads me to something else I'm currently doing with Main Insights and Chicago State. We have a few other sponsors, and actually Main Insights is one of the sponsors of my show as well. So we're doing a study, and it's actually on my Facebook page at Marvelette Molly Bailey. You can go on, and there's information to get in touch with Dr. Crystal Porter at 630-225-7462 if you're interested in knowing the health of your scalp. So we're currently doing a study, and all the assistants are actually CITI certified, which means you're certified to do research on human subjects. I'm sorry, getting tongue tied here.
Yep.
And also we have partners who are part of the swabbing process. So because of the HIPAA, we will not see any of your results. They will be mailed to you, and then you can in turn contact Dr. Porter or one of the Chicago State students or one of the assistants to go over your results with you. So it's actually for commercial hair integration or prosthetic pieces. Mm-hmm. However, there are stipulations. So even if you don't have weave or prosthetic hair, whatever you want to call it, you still may qualify. We can still swap your scalp and let you know the health of your scalp and if your styles or what you're doing at home is working for you and how to possibly correct it. So that's very important. And actually, that is on my Facebook page as well. As I said, on Facebook, I am Marvelette Molly Bailey. And you can scroll down my timeline. I'll put it back at the top again. I'll repost it after my show so that you can come and be a part of research, be a part of history, because this hair loss epidemic is real. And people say negative things about weaves or commercial hair integration or wigs, but that's just the time we live in. And people wear weaves and wigs for different reasons. Mm-hmm. And the bottom line is this: it's not what you do, it's how you do it. Because how a certain thing may affect one person may not affect another. Because we have someone whose hair stays intact no matter what she does to it. And then other people, you may pull an edge and they fall out. You know, and then a stylist, I want to say, a lot of us aren't interested in healthy hair care. We're interested in more of the get them in, get them out, assembly line, or the ponytail class. It's nothing. You don't have to go through the intensive training that I did to become a trichologist practitioner, but you need to take classes to understand when your client's hair is falling off their hair, because we're the first ones to know, because we see the hair in a bowl. But what it is we don't know how to fix it or what to do. Mm-hmm. But you need to be able to refer them to somebody who can, or help them understand what is going on with their head and their scalp.
Most times that's the problem. People don't really realize what is also contributing to some of that breakage, and even it's health issues with it. You know what I mean? We don't really realize that even as cosmetologists, and as long as we've been doing it, we can literally look at the scalp and say, this is a thyroid issue, this is a high blood pressure issue, all of that. And they don't really realize that when you are able to go to someone who's really into healthcare.
Just to back up something you said, you have to be careful, because if you are not a medical doctor, Absolutely. You cannot diagnose anyone. Absolutely. You can simply refer them out. Even if you know in your heart of hearts that's what you suspect that it is, you can't diagnose. You have to be very careful.
Oh, absolutely.
So you can say, well, there's something going on. I think I'm going to, and it's good for cosmetologists to partner up with dermatologists, mm-hmm. with primary care physicians, with onyxologists or whatever. I said onyxologist, that's a nail technician. Lord,
it really is.
My brain is
I wasn't going to say anything.
That is not what I meant to say. However, with medical professionals, so that they can combat these issues or help come to a resolution. We can work together. It's not like one is trying to take something away from the other, but we need to learn how to partner and stop trying to feel like somebody's taking something away from us, because there's enough to go around. And if we all educated each other, a lot of these issues would be dissolved or taken care of.
Absolutely. You should always refer to a physician. I would never say that we could diagnose it. I probably should have said, I thought I said, we recognize those particular things on the scalp. We can look at it and say, hey, there's an issue going on here. Is you need to see your physician, follow up and go to them. But then we are able to, kind of instruct them on, what are some things that we need to be looking for, because they need to be able to effectively go to their doctor and tell them the things that we're looking for that we see, so they can combat that and be able to correct it too.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. Another thing I wanted to point out in business, we do not continually educate ourselves. If you decide there's nothing else you can learn by going to a class or a seminar, you may as well end your career, because it's dead. If you are in business or in life, you should be a lifelong student. Even if that means picking up the relaxer bottle or a can of paint, depending on what your profession is, and read the back of it, because ingredients change all the time and everything has directions. I get so sick and tired of people saying, oh, well, I just pulled that out with some ocean. Well, they make remover for a reason. And you wonder why your client has bald spots in their head. I'm just saying. And color. Everybody is not a candidate for color. So I never, ever take a client over the phone for a chemical service. If you come to me, your first service is a shampoo air form, because the water don't lie. Yeah. They're going to tell you what they want you to know, but when I look at your hand and I touch it, if I ask you, I already know the answer. So, and they're not going to say, well, I lied to my stylist and she did X, Y, and Z. They're going to say, she took my hair out. Or better yet, that salon. They're going to blame the salon.
So how about those clients that come to you and tell you, oh, no, I don't have a color in my hair, and you looking right at the color?
But that's why you educate your clients. And sometimes they don't know. So if you're like, when you do consultations with your clients, or when they come in and you ask certain questions and you say, well, this is what I'm doing and this is why. And this is what happens if you mix A with B if you have C going on. So educate your clients. You have to make them comfortable enough. Or they may not know that a rinse is still a color, even though technically you're not mixing part A with part B to put it on there, but it's still there. So they may say, I had a rinse about 6 months ago, but it's not there. Well, if you haven't had 6 months worth of hair cut off your head, it's still there. But I don't think it's necessarily that they're being deceitful. In most cases, some cases, they simply don't know.
They don't know. And then another thing I would probably say, while I have the voice to say it, is don't be embarrassed to be able to share what's really going on with a licensed cosmetologist who's really into hair care, because a lot of times they do withhold and hold back. And rightful reasons. You know, sometimes there's things that are going on that I wouldn't want to share with you, right? I mean, you're a stranger, or I'm newly coming with you. But if I feel comfortable with you, as you said, you know what I mean? You want to make them feel comfortable, because some of those things are very important for us to know, to be able to recommend the proper service for your hair. So I would definitely say, you know, when you find that one stylist that you're really comfortable, please make sure you do share you know, what's really going on, because we're able to recommend other services that would be more beneficial for where you're at health-wise at that particular time.
Exactly. Absolutely. Another part of our seminar on July 9th at the Kroc Center, sponsored by the Far Southside Community Center and Ava St. Clair.
Yes, Ava.
Happy to give plugs to them. We spoke about mind your own business. That was one of my slides, and everybody thought it just meant quit being nosy. Well, technically, mind your business means tend to. Yes. Tend to your business. A lot of us say, well, I'm a business owner. I don't have to do this. I don't have to do that. You have to tend to your business and treat it as a corporation, even if you're not incorporated, which corporations have their perks, which was another part of our seminar. We talked about the different types of corporations and different types of insurance that you have with it. And if you're a stylist or if you're an entrepreneur, whatever it is that you do, you need to have liability insurance. Even if you work, I went to did some work with Walgreens as an independent contractor, and they required me, I had liability insurance, they required me to up it to $1 million. So then I in turn wind up doing $3 million because of this. A microwave age, and people want to come off of anybody's misery or misfortune.
Yes.
So you have to make sure you cover yourself. It'll cover you in the salon, outside the salon, when you're traveling, on my radio show, wherever. It'll cover you. And that's important, because again, a lot of times we don't know these things because we don't tell each other these things. But it is very important to have liability insurance to cover you. And also additional insurance, travel insurance. Because if you get sick in a foreign country, and I got this from one of my friends in a regular conversation, if you travel to a foreign country and you have regular medical insurance through United Healthcare or Blue Cross Blue Shield, and you don't have that clause in there, that extra insurance, they will not service you and they will not send your behind back home. So you stuck in some foreign country where you can't understand what they're saying. You going because you got bit by a starfish on your toe and they finna take your lung out.
Right.
And so that's very important. Mm-hmm. So these are things we need to know. Like everything in life has basically, and you can't go broke buying insurance, but there's always add-ons. And if you get group rates, you know, you get a cheaper rate. But if you're just doing it for yourself, if there are companies out there, and I'm not going to plug any companies because they're not my sponsors. However, if you do have some questions, again, I do consulting, so I can give you some answers there. You can contact me later, inbox me on Facebook, or email me, and I can help you out. But there are a lot of things that we don't know about as a people, and when we do find out things, we hold on to it. And a lot of things, it's not what you know, it's who you know. So keep that in mind and always be open-minded. Again, you're listening to IntellectualRadio.com. I am Marvelous Marvelette, a.k.a. Molly B, bringing you the beauty of business. This show is sponsored by Beyond Basic Nail Academy at 2813 147th Street in Posey, Illinois. $3,500 total, $500 down with weekly or bi-weekly payments. And Touch Perfection Consulting, bringing your business support with the perfect touch. Today, my guest is Lisa Scott, and we are talking about the do's and don'ts in business and giving you business tips and things that are going on in the beauty industry. And I also want to mention the beauty of business comes from there is beauty in business. You don't have to be, it doesn't have to be stressful. It's not hard. You just need to do your homework and find someone who can help you with the ins and outs. Unfortunately, I didn't have that early on, so I had to learn the hard way. But because I learned, even when I worked for other companies, I've always added at the end of my class business tips or different things that I didn't have to add. That was just my own doing because I felt like these are things we should know. And also I want to highlight Lisa's currently in cosmetology instructor training.
Instructors program.
So and I teach part-time at Beyond Basic Nail Academy. So a lot of things I like to tell my students is that stay behind the chair doing nails or doing hair. There are so many other avenues. And as far as finding your niche and what your target clientele is, you can go into reflexology. You can go into hand and foot diseases of the nails. You can go into with the cosmetology. You can go into trichology. You can go into movie sets, videos, photo shoots, magazines. I've written articles for several magazines and newspapers that Lisa has as well. So there's so many avenues of income, so many things you can do with your certification. You can also further it by taking extra classes and add-on classes. Like we say, add-on services. You can do add-on classes to add to your resume to keep open where you always have revenue coming in.
And isn't that funny? I mean, even as you say that, when we think about how when we first started out, we did everything, right? We still do everything, but how we did everything, and then over the course of years, how we really evolved into knowing, as we say, our niche, but as well as being able to just really hone in on those services, tweak them, make them our own, and be able to offer them to our clients, because now what you're doing is customizing.
Yes.
And a lot of times we don't realize that does still come with time. You know, you can have this great idea on how to be able to do a particular scalp treatment, but if it's not effective, we've seen how that scalp has evolved over the years from a healthy scalp, you know, to a scalp that is now a little older, has gone through some various things, be it medication, lifestyle, weather, all of that, with all the different elements in the air. You almost can tweak that particular treatment now, put something else in it and make it your own, and now where it's more effective. So we've really we could say that over the course of years, through education, going and getting our education, really staying in there, really getting into those classes, learning from other professionals within the industry, because you can never not learn. Students teach us stuff.
Absolutely.
They are so creative these days. They teach us. But the point is that you need to stay open, really learn when you're at classes, really get in there, get down and just digest that whole thing, so that when you're able to talk about it, customize it, you really can explain it to your clients. And they're really excited about it. Actually, our clients come to us and ask us, hey, what's new? You know what I mean? And so the creativity in the industry is endless.
Absolutely. I had a coworker previously, and I asked her, because I had at that time I had two suites. I had a trichology suite and I had a regular cosmetology suite, and she had a suite there as well. And in my office, I had all of my licenses and certifications, and then my cosmetology suite, things that pertain to that.
It just covered the wall, didn't it?
And then I have binders. So I asked her, why don't you tell your clients what is new and exciting in your life? What have you learned? What have you added to being a cosmetologist? What else can you offer them? And her response was, well, I don't tell my clients my business. They don't need to know what I'm doing. Well, yeah, they kind of do, because that's part of your branding. And they said, well, my stylist does this, because they do it all the time. They love to brag on you.
Oh,
my stylist does this, or my stylist is a doctor, or my stylist, so, yeah, and they promote you, and they refer you.
They're proud of us.
Exactly. So what's the point of doing this if you're going to hold on to it? Now, you don't have to walk around with all your letters on your chest or on your forehead, but at the same time, people you're doing business with need to know that you are continually educating yourself. So if this problem arises, this is what I learned how to do. Or if you have this after 5 event, or if you're getting married, I now offer wedding packages or makeup packages. So if you don't tell them, how will they know? But you don't want your clientele to refer new clients to you. You just want to go out and start over again. Mm-hmm. I don't understand that. So that is just my opinion. Feel free to comment and let me know if you feel differently. But I just think that is the most absurd thing I've heard.
But the fascinating thing about it is anyone who's withholding on that, as you talked about before, they're so proud of us. The reason why they like to brag on us is because they want someone else to know who's doing their hair and how good they are, how credible they are, and being on time. Do we even talk about that? Ooh.
Okay. So I'm going to since Ms. Lisa brought that up, I'm going to let her highlight that. So what do you have to say about the time issue and the respect or lack thereof our time?
It's a two-way street.
Absolutely.
They have to respect our time. Absolutely. Because we're there to be able to beautify these ladies and gentlemen. So it is a two-way street. However, when a client is paying for a service, you should already know how long it's going to take you to do, whether it's from a shampoo style to a relaxer or any other chemical services, or even from natural hair, from being able to shampoo them or cleanse them at that shampoo bowl to the time it is for you to style them at the very end, right? And then what you're going to do is you're going to make sure you're booking accordingly. Now, if you're trying to cram all these people in and within an 8 to 12 hour day, then what I would advise you to do is, again, go back to that bottom line that I shared with you, because you need to work smarter, not harder. A lot of us our bodies are worn out by the age of what we say good 40, and we've worked real hard to be able to make that really great income, because this is a very good business to be in.
Absolutely.
But we do not want to be broken down or not being able to keep servicing our clients, because they really want to be able to come see us until they retire, and even past then. So it's basically better to work smarter, not harder. So when you're working smarter, that means sometimes you're going to scale down the number of people that you're taking in, and you're going to increase some of your prices. It's not I would say it's okay. It is okay to increase your prices. 3% is every year, it's inflation automatically. Every year we add on 3%. So you need to relook at your pricing. If you know that you're worth it, then you offer it. But no one is going to pay good money to come sit in your chair 4 hours just for a shampoo style. I've heard that over and over again. 4 hours for a shampoo style. I'm sorry, that's just a little ridiculous for me. Now, that's just me.
Oh, I agree.
So if they disagree, feel free to call in. Did you give them the number?
The call-in number again is 708-233-8953. I'm sorry. Okay. 223. I'm sorry.
So let's give you that number.
That
one
number
more
again
time.
Is 708-223-8953.
Okay.
Thanks for that. I just got in trouble, y'all.
We're just excited.
Really excited. And also, those who know me know that when I get excited, I'm talking about something that I'm passionate about. I talk super fast, almost as if I'm speaking a foreign language. So you just have to say stop, rewind, English
Pause.
This time. Snatch and return. I got to bring it back. So I just got snatched and returned. So sorry about that for the phone number. But we got that straight now. Okay. All right. So as our show comes to an end, feel free. You probably won't have time to call in now, but you can tune in to IntellectualRadio.com. beauty of business with Marvelous Marvelette, aka Molly B, and our new guest every week. If you're interested in being a sponsor, you can contact me on Facebook, inbox me at Marvelette Molly Bailey on Facebook, or you can email me at missmollyb2@gmail.com. That's MSMOLLY, the letter B, the number 2 @gmail.com. And Lisa, is there any contact information you want to give out if anyone wants to get in touch with you?
If you want to be able to get in touch with me, my website is LHC Studio, L as in Larry, H Henry, C Charlie, Studio.com. And you can be able to reach out to me on all social media avenues and then kind of get an idea of what I've done in the industry and take a look at the website.
Okay. So with that, I'd like to thank all my listeners for tuning in. Next week, we have Stephanie Coleman, health and wellness coach. And remember, life brings about situations. They only become problems depending on how you deal with them. Thank you and goodbye.